Savage is going to get a savage sentence, 11 years. And we're going to continue to send a message to criminals out there. If you do the crime, we're going to take it seriously. Guys like Chief Revel and his team, they put their lives on the line every single day. They bring in the bad guys, and we don't do them a service when we let people out too early. I believe in harsh punishment. It sends a message. People have a long time to think about what they've done behind bars before they return to society. So again, it's an honor every day to be here with our law enforcement, our state, local police departments, our statewide prosecution office, and we're going around, we're shifting the culture. I think in Florida, most people have figured it out. If you're a prosecutor, we're going to prosecute to the fullest. If you believe in leniency, if you want to do easy plea deals, we're going to find you a new job. So thanks everybody for being here. With that, I will turn it over to our esteemed statewide prosecutor, Brad McVeigh.
Thank you, General. This case is a result of a multi-year investigation and prosecution. So I want to start by thanking our law enforcement partners, Commissioner Glass and FDLE and Chief Revel and TPD. This case had it all. You had surveillance, you had wiretap, you had a search warrant that was executed. So legal wrangling, it covered all bases, and it takes a lot of patience, hard work, and diligence from law enforcement to get these things to prosecution. So we are incredibly grateful for their efforts in this case. Drug trafficking fuels violence, fuels organized crime, it fuels addiction, it crushes families. This crime is not a victimless crime. And as the General said, these individuals have priors, and they made a conscious choice when they had the opportunity to become productive members of society. They chose time and time again to become full-time dope traffickers. And so this sentence reflects the choices that they made. The Office of Statewide Prosecution, we have 8 offices around the state and one right here in the capital city. And it is our mission to protect this community and make it safer, and we will continue to do that by going after the most violent and dangerous criminals, drug traffickers, child predators, organized crime. We will continue to fight to make the capital city the safest it possibly can be. With that, turn it over to Commissioner Glass, I believe.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I'm FDLE Commissioner Mark Glass, and I just want to say thank you to Chief. I appreciate your detectives working diligently on this case with us. And General, thank you for having us being here today to talk about this. You just heard the statewide prosecutor tell you this is not going to be tolerated. This is the free state of Florida. It's a law and order state. This case is multi-year, went back in 2020. We're talking about 42 different people got arrested, or pled out or rolled or sung like a canary to somebody else. And that's how we rolled up the chain to get to these last two to get convicted here. So kind of give you an idea with that is Rogers was found with 200, he was found guilty of conspiracy to traffic cocaine, trafficking 200 to 400 grams of cocaine and 2 counts of selling cocaine. Savage was found guilty of conspiracy to traffic cocaine and maintaining a drug house. Now, this may sometimes will seem like a smaller amount, but 400 grams is not a small amount, but it may seem like that. But you're talking about a lifetime of crime and pushing this toxic chemical throughout our communities. I will tell you with the chief, Sheriff of Gaston County, Sheriff of Leon County, North Florida HIDA, which was a key player in all this, U.S. Marshals, all the different players we had working on this case over a period of time with your Florida special agents made this come to fruition. But that's working hand in hand with your Office of Statewide Prosecution. They are the unsung heroes in this. They have to take it to court and put this, said this the other day in another press conference. They remember us because we put them in jail, but the prosecutors put them in prison. Let that sink in. So our prosecutors are out there on the front lines, maybe not kicking in the doors, but they're there with us. They talk through this whole process with us. We put strong cases together. And just because it started in 2020, so all those who are listening, if you're listening and you've done something even beyond that time, just because it started in 2020 and you sold something to somebody, do not think that they're honest who you sold it to, because they're going to roll faster than they can when they get in trouble. And then that's going to give us tips and leads to come after you. So I suggest you stop the shenanigans you're doing, quit doing what you're thinking you're trying to sell and try to make a quick buck, make an honest buck, and get yourself cleaned up. We have plenty of opportunity in this area here to help you get cleaned up out of that type of lifestyle, but I suggest you stop that. And with that, sir, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Chief, you want to say anything? Sure. Thank you.
So, good morning. I am Chief Rebel of the Tallahassee Police Department. Thank you, General, and all of my esteemed colleagues for joining us here. Thank you all for being here. Today's announcement really represents the kind of work that happens in law enforcement agencies across this country. When we come together for a shared purpose and for that shared commitment to public safety, it's our community that wins. The successful outcome of this case reflects a strong coordination among our federal, state, and local partners, including the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the Leon County Sheriff's Office, United States Marshal Service, North Florida HIDA, statewide prosecutors, and everybody that was involved. But what I want to point out is that task forces like this matter, and they make a difference. They allow agencies to combine investigative tools, intelligence, and the resources in a way that ensures these complex cases are built thoroughly and prosecuted successfully. This case, took a lot of time and a lot of effort, as Commissioner said, over many, many years. And credit here is due to the case agents, the detectives who carried out this investigation from start to finish. They are the ones that made sure things were done right, and that resulted in a conviction that will stand and court sentences that you've heard about already. At the Tallahassee Police Department, I've said it before and I'll say it again, we have the best people in the world and the best trained people in the world in law enforcement right here in this community. And when you pair that level of skill and dedication with strong partnerships like we have here, you get the results like we have here today. The sentences imposed in this case demonstrate the justice system's commitment to dismantling organized drug trafficking operations and protecting public safety across jurisdictions. This outcome sends a clear message that coordinated, persistent, and dedicated investigative work makes the real difference in what we do. We remain committed to supporting our law enforcement partners and continuing to work together to disrupt drug trafficking wherever it exists and by whoever is doing it. At the end of the day, it truly is a team effort. And the real winner of this team effort is this great community in which we serve. So thank you, General, again, for the opportunity to be here.
Thanks, Chief. It's because of our law enforcement that we've got the lowest crime rates that we've ever had in this state. We're a big state. Our population's growing. Capital's flowing in like never before. Those trends typically lead to more crime. Bad people, evil people, they chase money, but not in Florida because we set the stage. These guys, they enforce rule of law, and then our prosecutors like Guillermo here, they work their tail off to put people away for a long time. So, Guillermo, I'll let you say a few words if you'd like.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to echo what has been said here. This is a complete team effort, a team victory. It starts with the leadership and tone set at the top with the Attorney General, with our outstanding statewide prosecutor, Brad McVeigh, our Chief Assistant, Brian Fernandez, and my trial partner in this case, Reed Haley. Suffice it to say that the defendants here tried to delay justice by playing games, but justice was delayed, but it wasn't denied, and they're going to get the sentence that they deserved. There was over 300 grams of cocaine found in Mr. Rogers' apartment where he lived, and cocaine found at the trap house where Ms. Savage ran his business. And a trap house is a place that's run exclusively to sell drugs. And at the end of the day, what the jury heard, what was beyond a reasonable doubt, was that you had call after call where Mr. Rogers was talking to Ms. Savage. They were talking about the drug debts that were owed. In fact, the jury in one call heard Ms. Savage run after a customer screaming at him that he hadn't paid what he owed. So this was clear. There was a sophisticated surveillance system at that trap house. This wasn't your regular ADT Simply Safe. This was a commercial level security system. And in a surreal moment when law enforcement came in to execute that search warrant, they saw their marked units outside in the big screen TV that showed all the inside and outside cameras. So they knew exactly what they were doing. And I would just finish, because I wouldn't be remiss if I said that for a lot of people, they think, well, drug sales, drug trafficking, that's a victimless crime. It's anything but victimless. This destroys communities, it tears apart families, and it leads to violence. And in Florida, that is just not tolerated. So with that, I'll turn it back to the Attorney General.
I do want to conclude by thanking many members of the legislature for working hard on Missy's Law. For those of you who don't remember, a tragic situation here where an individual was convicted by a jury of child molestation. A judge then abused discretion and, over the objection of the state attorney, released this dangerous guy back into society, and he went and smothered to death, murdered a little girl. It's tragic. This should never happen. Somebody that's a violent offender, somebody that is found guilty by the trier of fact, should never be allowed to walk freely into society. So we're going to tie up this loophole. It shouldn't exist in the first place. It's terrible that we had to have this tragedy occur, but if there's any good to come out of it, it's pushing forward with some good legislation. With that, time for a few questions, if anybody has. I don't know what I'm allowed to say publicly or not on that. I direct you to the state attorney's office. What I will say is what I've said from the beginning. Nobody did anything wrong, certainly no legal issues. I think this was a nothing burger complaint, as most everybody knew, certainly any competent lawyer. At the end of the day, you had a complaint brought by a legislator with some nefarious motives. I know that, Alan's a big fan of recreational marijuana use everywhere in public. The state took a policy position to oppose that, and the state was victorious. We protected the state from, tens or hundreds of millions in harm to criminal justice system, healthcare, you name it. So at the end of the day, I think it's a good result. We're tired of the distractions. We're here to put bad guys and predators away. Yes, ma'am, in the back. Like I said, I think I've said all I can. You got to go to the state attorney if you want more details. But again, nobody did anything wrong here. No indictments are out as far as I'm aware of. Yeah, was there another hand in the back? I've said what I can. Nobody did anything wrong. I think the state attorney might have additional quotes. Yes, ma'am. I'm right here in the back. As I've said before, you're going to have to talk to the state attorney. This was a nothing burger. I think that's pretty clear. Yes, ma'am. Sure. The question is about the validity of signatures for the Smart and Safe recreational marijuana campaign. My understanding, as reported by the Department of State, the Secretary of State, is that they were somewhere, I think, 50, 60,000 signatures short of the total needed to end up on the ballot. As far as my office's efforts to prosecute against fraudulently produced signatures, we believe in election security. We've got the #1 election integrity unit in the country. Our ballot, our Constitution is sacred. The law is the law. If somebody wants to get on the ballot, they've got to have about 880,000 signatures here. Many of them were getting dinged as fraudulent signatures. We were hearing from members of the public that they had not submitted the signatures that were on file. So at the end of the day, they didn't hit the number. Therefore, my office moved to withdraw the argument from the Supreme Court. I don't believe they've ruled on that yet, so they may still want to look at whether or not the ballot summary is indeed valid to go on the ballot. But at the end of the day, not enough signatures to go on the ballot. Yes, sir. Hold on. I'm going to go to somebody else. You've had a turn. Thank you. Yeah, the statute says that everything's got to be turned in by February 1. I believe we're past February 1. I don't see enough signatures at this point. So happy to look at their, if they want to waste, legal fees, so be it. We'll take them on in court. Yes, sir, in the very back. Ma'am, you've already asked a question. I'm going to go to some other people in the room. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak a little louder? Still having a little trouble here, and I think the question's on, verification that somebody's here legally before they can get IDs. Here in Florida, you cannot get an ID being an illegal alien. I'm not sure about the specific bill, but I'm supportive of any effort to further protect our citizens and make sure that people are not getting behind the wheel of a car if they're not here legally. We saw some tragic situations across the country where people were not just given IDs in California, but they were given tractor-trailer IDs, which require a heightened level of training and skill. Some individuals were given these IDs without even being able to speak English. That can't happen. You've got to be able to speak English and read road signs on the roads in order to be around, our families that are just trying to go about their daily lives. And we've actually brought a lawsuit in the Supreme Court against California on their decision to do that, because they can be a sanctuary state. They can bring in illegals. They can do all that. I mean, it's wrong, and it is illegal, but it also hurts us. So they need to be held accountable, and I hope the United States Supreme Court will step in. Yes, ma'am. Nothing burger. All right. Thanks, everybody.